how can you surrender and let go and become detached from the outcome and the stuff that you seek after in your life? How can you do that and still have the things that you want come into your life? How does that paradox work? One of the things that I have learned in my own speaking is to let go of the outcome, to be unconcerned with the reaction and what's in it for me, and indeed to just surrender. And in my meditation before I speak, I always repeat the mantra endlessly over and over again, and I find myself doing this more and more in my life, and something that I urge you to do. I ask the question, how may I serve? Just, how may I serve? How may I serve? How may I serve? There are 1,000 people there. How may I serve them? It's like getting the focus off of what's in it for me and how do I look and whether I say the right thing and whether people like what I say and whether they buy things that I have or whatever. And instead, like letting all of that go. Just letting that go. And getting the focus of your life, the centeredness of your life on this business of serving. And the irony of it is that when you get to that point where you're able to do it and let go of that outcome, all of the stuff that you chased after and worked so hard for and figured you had to have back here begins to chase after you and show up in your life. And it isn't you're no longer on the treadmill. It's like a surrendering. And so that's what I do when I come on stage. And it's almost as if God says to me, it's like, as long as you stay on purpose, you'll never stumble. And you'll know what to say. And when you get off of that, and you shift your alignment away from that, then you won't be able to do what you're doing. And the same thing happened in the writing of this Real Magic. For the first time in my life, I experienced what I have come to call automatic writing, where I left home and went off to Maui and sat down and in 8 weeks' time just produced this book without any struggle whatsoever, not one moment of struggle. And it just seemed to be there, and it seemed to flow. And I can type, like when I sit down and type a letter or a contract or anything that I might have to put out on a typewriter, I'm one of these kind of typists. I just look around. I can do it rather quickly, but I have never had the formal training in typing. But when I write at this little typewriter, I can go along and close my eyes and write at 70 and 80 words a minute when you get into that automatic. And I can't tell you how I do that, because I had completely let go. And I wasn't concerned with whether the editors liked it, how it came out, whether or not it was a bestseller, whether people were going to buy it, whether the reviews were going to be, nothing. It was like very, very peaceful. And it's a very peaceful place that I'm asking you to look at and get to in your own life.
I learned to do it about 10 years ago when I really honed this, and that was when I was speaking in Houston. There were about 3,500 people who had all paid a lot of money to come and hear me, and it was an evening with Wayne Dyer. And I had all my notes all arranged in exactly the way I wanted to, and everything was just exactly perfect. I was backstage doing the pacing that you do before you go on, and the meditating and the breathing, and just getting yourself relaxed, and your sort of divine guidance that you're seeking. And I realized that I didn't have my notes. They were gone.
Yes.
And they were back in the hotel room, which was 30 minutes away, and I was going on in 10 minutes. So I walked out on stage without any notes for the first time, and I surrendered. In that 10-minute period of time, I just said, all right, you know what you're doing, and you know how to do it, and you're good at this, and you're here for a reason, and there are 3,501 people in this room, and you're the one who's speaking, and 3,500 have paid to come and hear you. There must be a reason for that, and so get on purpose, get off of your outcome, get off of how well you do, get off of how much money you're being paid, get off of all of that, and get on to what are you here for?
Yeah.
And you're here to improve the quality of life for somebody else. That's all you can do. When you leave this planet, the measure of your life won't be in what you accumulated. It will be in what you gave. Since you can't get anything anyway, it's in giving. So I surrendered, and that was the beginning for me of surrendering. I've never used notes since in my life. It's not that I'm not prepared. I meditate before, and I know what I want to do.
See, what you have to learn is that I read a wonderful line when I was down in Australia by an actress who was talking, and she concluded it with, she said, if you want to make God laugh, tell her your plans. See, God's plan works, essentially, and yours doesn't. Basically. It's like becoming a spiritual being really means shifting away from your plans and allowing yourself into this divine perfection.
We begin with the most profound and essential truth. You are already whole, already complete, and already enough. The world may attempt to convince you otherwise, whispering in your ear that you must become something more, that you must shrink yourself to fit into the boxes it has created for you. But here, in the deepest recesses of your soul, you know the truth. You are not meant to shrink, to minimize, or to diminish yourself to meet the standards of a world that cannot even comprehend the vastness of your potential. The truth, dear soul, is that your destiny is not to become someone else, but to become more fully and completely who you already are. The world around you is constantly changing, constantly shifting, offering you opportunities to become small, to fit into molds, to conform to the expectations of others. But I am here to remind you of something far greater. You are not meant to shrink to fit into this world. You are meant to expand into the fullest expression of who you are, to shine brightly, to belong, not because you have diminished yourself, but because you have fully embraced your own magnificence. When you shrink yourself, you are living a lie. You are living in a space that is not your own. You are adjusting your being to meet the false expectations of others, trading your authenticity for approval, your power for acceptance. But listen to the voice deep within you. It is time to let go of that lie. It is time to step into the truth that you do not need anyone's permission to be your fullest self. You do not need to shrink, diminish, or apologize for your brilliance. Your soul is not here to play small. Your soul is here to dance boldly and freely, to express the divine essence that flows within you. You were not created to blend into the shadows, to become invisible, or to hide in corners. You were created to stand tall, to expand into the greatness of your being, to show the world who you are, unapologetically, fearlessly, and powerfully. Now, understand this. The process of expanding to belong is not an easy one. It requires courage. The courage to let go of the past and all the false stories you have been told. It requires the courage to release the need for external validation, the need for others to tell you who you are and what you are worth. It requires the courage to walk away from what is familiar, what is comfortable, and step into the unknown, knowing that the path ahead is one of your own creation. This is not a journey for the faint of heart. It is the path of the warrior, the one who refuses to settle for anything less than their truth. It is the journey of the awakened soul who no longer seeks approval, who no longer believes in the lies that they have been fed, but instead stands firmly in the belief that they are worthy of their dreams, their desires, and their limitless potential. And so the first step in expanding to belong is releasing the past. You cannot move forward if you are constantly looking over your shoulder, holding on to the weight of past mistakes, past disappointments, and past failures. These are not your truths. They are simply experiences that have shaped you, but they do not define you. The person you were yesterday is not the person you are today, and it is not the person you are becoming. To release the past, you must forgive yourself. You must release the judgments you have placed upon yourself for not being enough, for not doing enough, for not living up to some illusory standard of perfection. You are not here to be perfect, dear one. You are here to be real. You are here to be authentic. And in your authenticity, in your willingness to be vulnerable, to be imperfect, you will find your true power. The second step in expanding to belong is shifting your mindset. The world tells you that you must hustle, that you must work harder, push further, strive more. But I am here to tell you that true belonging, true peace, true success comes not from striving, but from surrender. It comes from knowing that the universe is not something you have to fight against, but something you are already in harmony with. You do not need to compete for your place in this world, for your place has already been set. You do not need to chase after approval, for you are already approved by the divine. When you surrender to this truth, when you stop trying to fit into the world's expectations and instead expand into your own truth, you will find that you belong exactly where you are, exactly as you are. You will stop trying to prove your worth, and instead you will begin to feel the inherent value that you have always held. You are worthy simply because you exist, because you are a divine expression of love, of light, of infinite potential. The third step is to embrace your uniqueness. There is no one else in the world like you. You were not created to fit into someone else's mold. You were not created to follow someone else's path. You were created to walk your own path, to follow your own heart, and to trust in your own intuition. The world needs your gifts, your talents, your perspective. The world does not need another copy. It needs the original version of you in all your glory. Too often we shrink ourselves because we fear standing out. We fear being different, being seen, being judged. But let me tell you this, when you shrink yourself, when you hide your light, you are depriving the world of the very thing it needs. You are depriving yourself of the joy, the fulfillment, and the connection that comes from living authentically. So I ask you, are you ready to expand? Are you ready to let go of the fear, the doubt, and the need for approval? Are you ready to step fully into your divine power and claim your place in this world, not as a diminished version of yourself, but as the grand, powerful, and limitless being you were always meant to be? When you expand to belong, you do not seek validation from others because you no longer need it. You belong to yourself. You belong to the universe. You belong to the divine flow of life that moves through all things. And in this belonging, in this deep and unshakable knowing that you are enough, you will find the peace, the fulfillment, and the joy that you have been searching for. This is your truth, dear one. You do not need to shrink to fit into a world that does not understand your light. You are meant to shine, to rise, and to expand. And as you do, you will see that you do not have to chase belonging, for belonging will come naturally, effortlessly, as you step into the fullness of who you are. You are already enough. You are already worthy. And you have the power, the strength, and the courage to expand into the greatness that is your birthright. So, let go of the past, release the need for approval, embrace your unique gifts, and step boldly into the world as the magnificent being you were always meant to be. You do not need to shrink to fit. You are meant to expand to belong. And as you expand, you will discover that the world has always been waiting for you to step into your greatness. Now, go forth, dear one, and let your light shine. Let it shine not because you are seeking validation, but because you are remembering who you truly are. You are not just a part of this world, you are the world itself, infinite, expansive, and filled with possibility. Expand to belong. The world is waiting for you to show up. You see, dear soul, there is a force within you, an energy so vast, so powerful, that it could never be contained by the limitations of the world's expectations. It is the same force that flows through the universe, that connects each star in the sky, each ripple in the ocean, each moment of life. This force, this energy is your true essence, your divine inheritance. It is the spark of creation itself, flowing through you, guiding you, calling you to rise above the noise of the world and to step into the truth of who you are. This truth, however, does not come from the outside. It does not come from the approval of others, nor from external validation. It comes from the quiet space within, from the sacred whispers of your soul, from that still point of infinite knowing that you have always had access to. The truth that you seek is not somewhere out there waiting for you to find it. No, it is already within you, patiently awaiting your recognition, your acceptance. So often, we are taught to look outside ourselves for answers. We search the world, we search the people around us for clues, for signs, for directions. We seek approval, affirmation, and guidance, believing that someone else holds the key to our peace, our happiness, our success. But I am here to remind you of something that you already know. Deep within you are the key. You have always been the key. The answers you seek are already written in the stars within you. They are already encoded in the deepest chambers of your heart. And the moment you begin to trust in this truth, the moment you begin to listen to your own soul, you will find that the world begins to rearrange itself in alignment with your highest purpose. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are simply awakening to the truth of who you are. And with this awakening comes the power to heal, to transform, and to expand in ways you never thought possible. When you allow yourself to expand, to fully embody your truth, you are not simply creating change in your own life. You are contributing to the evolution of the entire universe. You are a divine instrument of change, a powerful force of creation. Every time you step into your authentic self, every time you choose to let go of the need to shrink, you are healing not just yourself, but the world around you. You are healing the collective consciousness, lifting the energy of the entire planet. You are a living embodiment of divine possibility. But this requires courage. It requires a willingness to face the unknown, to walk away from the familiar, to surrender the need for certainty. The truth of who you are is not something that can be grasped with the mind. It is not something that can be logically understood, explained, or proven. It is something that must be felt, something that must be experienced in the deepest chambers of your being. And so you must trust. You must trust that the universe is guiding you. You must trust that the path before you is not a random series of events, but a carefully orchestrated sequence of moments designed to bring you into alignment with your highest self. Every experience, every challenge, every setback, every triumph is a part of this grand design. Nothing is by accident. Everything is part of the plan. As you release the need to control, to force outcomes, to manipulate situations, you will find that life begins to flow more effortlessly. The resistance you have carried for so long will begin to dissolve. The weight of expectation, the weight of fear, the weight of self-doubt will lift, and you will feel lighter, freer, more expansive than you ever have before. And in this freedom, you will discover that true peace does not come from external circumstances, but from within. It comes from the quiet, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, that you are always in the right place at the right time. There is no need to rush. There is no need to worry. There is only the present moment unfolding in perfect harmony with your soul's deepest desires. When you expand into your true self, you no longer need to compare yourself to others. You no longer need to measure your worth by the standards of the world. You are not here to be like anyone else. You are not here to fit into a mold or to live someone else's dream. You are here to live your own unique, extraordinary life. You are here to blaze your own trail, to create your own legacy, and to leave a mark on this world that is as unique as your soul's blueprint. And when you live from this place of authenticity, of alignment with your true self, you will begin to attract everything you need, people, opportunities, experiences into your life. The universe will mirror back to you the energy you radiate. If you radiate love, you will attract love. If you radiate peace, you will attract peace. If you radiate confidence, you will attract confidence. This is the law of attraction at work, not as a magical formula, but as a natural consequence of living in harmony with your true nature. You see, when you are fully in alignment with your authentic self, when you are fully expanded into your divine potential, you become magnetic. You become a beacon of light, drawing everything you need to you effortlessly. You do not have to chase after your desires. You do not have to fight for them. You do not have to prove your worth. You simply need to be. Be who you truly are, and the world will come to you. This is the beauty of expanding to belong. You do not have to change yourself to fit in. You do not have to make yourself smaller to be accepted. You do not have to sacrifice your truth to gain approval. Instead, you expand into the fullness of your being, and in that expansion, you will find that you are already home. You belong exactly as you are. There is no need to compete, no need to compare, no need to prove yourself. You belong because you exist. You belong because you are a divine expression of life itself. You belong because the universe created you with a purpose, with a plan, and with a light that is meant to shine brightly. So, as you step into the fullness of who you are, as you expand to belong, remember that you are not alone. You are never alone. You are always connected to the infinite, to the source of all that is, to the divine flow of life that moves through everything. And in that connection, in that knowing, you will find the courage, the strength, and the peace to continue your journey, to continue expanding, and to continue becoming the person you were always meant to be. And as you expand, as you step into your greatness, know that you are not just doing this for yourself. You are doing this for the world. You are doing this for humanity. You are doing this for the collective consciousness. Every time you expand into the truth of who you are, you help raise the vibration of the entire planet. You help to heal the collective wounds, to elevate the energy, to bring more love, more light, more peace into the world. So do not shrink to fit. Expand to belong. Expand to claim your place in this world. Expand to show the world what true power, true peace, and true love look like. Expand to become the fullest, most authentic version of yourself. And in that expansion, you will discover that you do not need to chase belonging, for you have always belonged. The universe has been waiting for you to remember this truth. And now, as you expand, you will see that the world has been waiting for you all along. As you expand, dear soul, the universe becomes more than just a space you occupy. It is no longer a series of random events or disconnected pieces. It transforms into an intricate web of relationships, opportunities, and experiences that are specifically tailored to guide you on your soul's journey. There is no such thing as coincidence. Every moment, every encounter is part of the grand design meant to bring you back into alignment with your divine self. But here lies the beauty when you expand into your true self. You no longer have to search for meaning or validation outside of you. You stop searching for answers in the external world and start finding them within. You are no longer lost, no longer grasping for something that eludes you. Instead, you become a conscious co-creator with the universe, intentionally aligning your thoughts, actions, and energy with the flow of life. This is not about forcing or striving. It is about trust. It is about surrendering to the flow of the universe, knowing that everything you need is already on its way to you. As you let go of the need to control, the universe begins to flow through you effortlessly. Doors open, opportunities arise. People enter your life who resonate with your energy. Situations unfold in ways you could never have imagined, and yet they feel perfectly aligned with your soul's deepest desires. Let go of the belief that you must work harder or push further to achieve. Let go of the idea that life is a struggle to be won. Life is not a battle to be fought. It is a dance to be embraced. When you align with your true nature, life becomes a beautiful, effortless flow. The only effort required is the effort to release the need for struggle. The only work you need to do is the inner work of letting go, of resistance, of opening your heart, of trusting the path that unfolds before you. And let me remind you, the path may not always be easy. There will be moments of challenge, moments where you feel uncertain or afraid, but this is part of the process. These moments are not signs that you are on the wrong path. They are signs that you are growing, evolving, and expanding. They are the universe's way of showing you where you still hold resistance, where you are still attached to limiting beliefs, where you are still holding on to fear. And each time you face these moments with courage and trust, you will find yourself shedding layers of the old self, the false self, the self that was built on fear and scarcity, and emerging into the fullness of who you truly are. You will learn that there is nothing to fear. There is only the present moment, the moment that is always full of infinite possibilities. In each breath, you are given the opportunity to choose again, to choose love, to choose trust, to choose expansion. And with each conscious choice, you create your reality, one thought at a time. As you continue to expand, you will begin to see the world with new eyes. You will no longer see a world of limitation and lack. Instead, you will see a world of abundance and possibility. You will understand that the universe is not something separate from you, but that it is you and you are it. The same energy that created the stars, the planets, and the galaxies is the same energy that flows through you. You are not separate from this vastness. You are a part of it, an extension of it. And as you step into your true self, you will begin to feel the immense power and beauty that resides within you. You are the embodiment of the divine, and as such, you are capable of creating miracles in your life. But these miracles are not about bending the world to your will. They are about aligning with the flow of divine energy and allowing it to move through you. The miracles are not outside of you. They are the natural result of living in alignment with your true self. As you expand, you will notice that the people around you begin to shift as well. You will begin to attract those who resonate with your energy, those who support and uplift you, those who reflect back the beauty and power that you have come to recognize in yourself. The relationships that once felt draining or disconnected will begin to transform. You will no longer settle for relationships that do not honor your true self. You will no longer allow others to diminish your light. And in turn, you will inspire others to do the same. Your expansion will be contagious. As you step into your truth, you will show others that they too are capable of doing the same. You will awaken the divine within them, reminding them of their own limitless potential. The more you expand, the more you help others expand, and together, you will create a world where authenticity, love, and truth are the foundation of all human interaction. This is what it means to live in harmony with your true self. It means knowing that you do not need to shrink to fit into the world's standards. You belong not because you fit in, but because you are willing to stand out as the unique and powerful being you are always meant to be. You expand, not for others, but for yourself. You expand because your soul is calling you to. And in this expansion, you will find not only your true self, but a deep sense of belonging that cannot be shaken because it is not dependent on anyone else's approval. The world will not always understand your expansion, but that does not matter. It is not for the world to understand, it is for you to live it. And as you live it, you will begin to see that you are exactly where you are meant to be. You will begin to feel the deep peace that comes from knowing that you are not here to please anyone. You are here to fulfill your own soul's purpose, to expand into the fullness of your divine essence, and to show the world the beauty that comes from living in alignment with your true nature. So let go. Let go of the fear, let go of the doubts, let go of the limiting beliefs that tell you that you are not enough, that you are not worthy, that you must shrink to fit in. Step into your greatness. Step into your truth. Step into the light that has always been within you. And as you do, you will find that you are not alone, for the universe will walk with you every step of the way. In the end, it is not about fitting in. It is about expanding to belong, not because you have conformed, but because you have embraced your true self. You are not here to shrink. You are here to expand, to rise, and to shine brightly for the world to see. And as you expand, you will find that you belong not because of what you have done, but because of who you are. And this, dear soul, is the greatest gift you can give yourself, the gift of being fully, authentically, and beautifully you. The world is waiting for you to step into your greatness. Will you? As we approach the final moments of this journey, it is important to ground ourselves in the deep, transformative realization that you have always been whole, always been worthy, and always been enough. The external world may have tried to convince you otherwise, but the truth of who you are cannot be altered by the opinions of others or the limitations of the past. The truth is simple yet profoundly powerful. You are a divine being, an expression of pure love and light, here to expand, to grow, and to fulfill the purpose that has been written in your soul long before you were born. As you continue on this path of self-expansion, you will find that it is not about becoming someone else, nor is it about attaining something you do not already possess. It is about remembering who you truly are, remembering the infinite potential that lies dormant within you, waiting for the moment when you choose to awaken to it. It is about shedding the layers of fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs that have kept you small, and allowing the fullness of your divine essence to emerge. And as you allow yourself to expand, as you allow yourself to step into the fullness of your being, you will begin to see the world with new eyes. You will no longer see obstacles, you will see opportunities. You will no longer see limitations, you will see possibilities. And you will no longer see yourself as separate from the universe, you will see yourself as a vital, integral part of it. A part of the grand design, the divine expression of creation, here to contribute to the beauty, the love, and the light that are the essence of life itself. But remember this, the path to expansion is not a straight line. It is not a path of perfection. There will be times when you stumble, when you question yourself, when you feel uncertain, and that's okay. The very act of expansion requires vulnerability. It requires the courage to face the unknown, to walk through the darkness, and trust that the light will emerge on the other side. It is in these moments of uncertainty that you are given the opportunity to grow the most, to release the fears that have held you back, and to step into a new level of understanding and awareness. This is the path of the awakened soul. It is the path of surrender, of trust, of love. It is the path of aligning your thoughts, your actions, and your energy with the truth of who you are, not who the world says you should be, but who your soul knows you to be. And as you walk this path, you will find that the universe begins to align with you. Doors will open, opportunities will present themselves, and you will be led to people and experiences that resonate with your highest truth. You do not need to chase after these things. You do not need to force them into being. They will come to you as naturally as the breath you take when you align with your true self. And in this alignment, you will find that the world begins to mirror back the very energy that you are radiating, an energy of love, of peace, of authenticity. The more you expand, the more you allow yourself to embody your true nature, the more you will experience the freedom that comes with knowing you are enough exactly as you are. There is nothing you need to do to earn your place in this world. You already belong. Your mere existence is a gift, a miracle, and the universe is constantly supporting you in living your most expansive and authentic life. So, I ask you once again, are you ready? Are you ready to step into the fullness of who you are? Are you ready to expand, to let go of the fear, and to embrace the infinite potential that is already within you? You are not here to fit in. You are here to stand out, to rise up, and to be the light in a world that needs it. You are here to expand into your truest self, and in that expansion, you will discover that you are not only enough, but you are everything. You are the beginning and the end, the light and the love, the infinite potential of the universe unfolding in human form. The world is waiting for you to shine, waiting for you to step into your power and claim your place in the grand design. The moment has arrived, dear soul. It is time to expand. It is time to rise. It is time to be who you truly are. And as you do, you will discover that the world will embrace you, not because you have become someone else, but because you have become fully, completely, and unapologetically you. You are already enough. You always have been. Now, step into your greatness, expand to belong. The universe is waiting for you to show up. You are the light. You are the love. You are the power. And you belong not because you fit in, but because you are exactly who you were always meant to be. Expand, dear soul, and let the world see you shine.
Close the door to the outer world for just a moment. In silence, we awaken. In stillness, we command. You were never meant to beg life for crumbs. You were meant to declare and see the world bow to your declaration. Never complain. When you complain, you agree with limitation. You tell the universe, I accept this. But the truth is, your acceptance is the only thing keeping it alive. Complaining feeds the illusion. It strengthens the shadows. The moment you stop speaking of what you hate, you starve it of life. Never explain. You owe no one an explanation for your dreams, your silence, or your certainty. To explain is to defend, and to defend is to doubt. Let your life speak for itself. Let your transformation become the answer to every question. When you know what you are doing inwardly, explanation becomes unnecessary. The one who manifests miracles is not loud. They are not desperate. They are calm, certain quietly. Sure, they move through the world knowing that what they have imagined must appear. The world bends to the unseen self. This is law. You are not here to fight reality. You are here to replace it. And how do you do that? By refusing to entertain what no longer serves you, by never speaking of it again, by not giving it one more second of your precious energy. The moment you decide to no longer complain or explain, you have stepped into power. The miracle is not coming from out there. It's not delayed. It's not complicated. It is already prepared. It only waits for your assumption. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Assume it so deeply, so faithfully, that the world has no choice but to reflect it. Be still now. Let no outer voice disturb you. Let no need for validation creep in. Let no hunger for sympathy draw you back into the world of excuses. You are done explaining. You are done complaining. You are ready to command, silence your doubts, dwell in your desire, live from the end, and miracles will not be rare, they will be routine. Never complain, never explain. Manifest silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of power. It is the quiet confidence of the one who knows who they are, and what they possess within the person who remains silent in a noisy world is not weak, but supremely strong. They have withdrawn their energy from the outer chaos and anchored it in the inner kingdom. They understand something sacred, that words are seeds and not every field is worthy of planting. To complain is to speak from a state of powerlessness. It is the act of reinforcing that which you no longer wish to experience. Every complaint is a repetition of lack, a declaration that the outer world is your master. But the awakened mind knows that reality is not to be obeyed. It is to be shaped. Complaining feeds the problem. Silence stops it. And so the confident mind chooses stillness. Not out of indifference, but out of intention. Likewise, to explain yourself constantly is to reveal uncertainty. You explain when you believe you must earn understanding. When you seek approval, when you are not yet convinced that your own inner knowing is enough. But the one who walks in alignment with their vision knows that explanations are unnecessary. They do not defend their desires. They do not justify their path. They simply walk it and let the results speak. The more certain you are within, the less you need to be validated without. Silence then becomes your most potent statement. It is the invisible signal that you have turned within, that you are now communing with the infinite, not pleading with the finite. When you say nothing but believe everything, you become magnetic. Others feel the shift in your energy. They may not understand it, but they respond to it. The world begins to conform, not because you shouted, not because you begged, but because you dared to trust in the unseen. Your imagination is your sacred temple. What you build there, in stillness and in faith, becomes flesh. And so, the confident mind doesn't speak of what it doesn't want. It speaks only of what is already done in consciousness, or it remains utterly still, allowing the inner picture to grow in silence. For just as seeds do not sprout when constantly disturbed, manifestations do not flourish when constantly doubted. To master your reality, master your silence, not as repression, but as reverence, not as avoidance, but as divine strategy. Speak only when your words add power to the vision. Otherwise, let your silence become your shield. Let it be your stance. Let it announce to the universe, I know who I am. I know what I have assumed. I know it is done. And in that quiet, knowing the miracle, appears not as a surprise, but as the most natural outcome of a mind that never complained, never explained, and never doubted its own creative authority. You are always manifesting whether you realize it or not. Every moment of your life is a reflection of your inner state. Yet your thoughts are not idle. Your emotions are not meaningless. What you consistently accept as true within yourself, whether through worry or wonder, complaint or creation, becomes the blueprint for your reality. This is the unchanging law. Many believe manifestation is something that begins when you sit in meditation. Write down affirmations or visualize a goal, but that is only part of the picture. Manifestation is not a switch you turn on and off. It is constant. Every belief you carry, every story you repeat to yourself, every assumption you refuse to challenge is actively shaping the world around you. The question is not whether, the question is what are you manifesting when you complain? You affirm that the problem is real, powerful, and persistent. You attach yourself to the very condition you wish to change. You feed the energy of lack and limitation. And because your subconscious mind accepts repetition as truths, it takes those complaints as instructions, it says. So this is what we believe now and proceeds to build your world accordingly. Complaint is not harmless. It is creation in disguise, and it creates precisely what you do not want. But when you choose to create, you begin to use your mind on purpose. You shift from reality to intention, from fear to faith. But when you choose to create, you begin to use your mind on purpose. You tap into the real power. You begin to use your mind on purpose. You shift from reality to intention. You shift from reality instead of to feel. You begin to use your mind on purpose. You shift from reality. This is why your inner world is so vital. It is the garden from which all else grows. If you fill it with weeds of worry, weeds will appear in your outer life. But if you plant seeds of certainty, beauty, wealth, and peace, those two will rise and take form. What you nourish within is what takes shape without. And your attention is the water that determines which grow. Choose wisely. Your mind is not a playground, it is sacred ground. To entertain every complaint, every doubt, every negative assumption is to misuse divine power, but to speak as though it is done to feel the joy of fulfillment. Now, to refuse to dwell in lack. This is mastery. This is living deliberately. You manifest not by force, but by faith, not by effort, but by assumption. And the universe is not judging what you want. It is simply mirroring what you persistently believe. So watch your inner conversations. Notice the stories you tell. Are they leading you toward what you desire or anchoring you in what you fear? Every thought is a seed. Every feeling is a command. Every assumption is a silent prayer. You are always manifesting. And the life you live today began in the thoughts you entertained yesterday. Choose now with purpose, and tomorrow will reflect the wisdom of that choice. The explanation is for the unbelieving. It is the language of doubt, the gesture of someone trying to be convinced by others because they have not yet convinced themselves. But once you truly believe, once you have seen the desire in your mind's eye and accepted it as real, there is no urge to explain. There is only quiet certainty, calm knowing, and the unwavering expectation that it must unfold. When you live from imagination, you are walking a path that most cannot see. Your vision is invisible to others, and because they cannot see what you see, they may question, challenge, or misunderstand you. But you do not owe anyone the burden of explanation. You are not required to justify your dreams to those who are bound by appearances. The creative act is sacred, private, and personal. It takes place within you. It is validated not by argument, but by manifestation. You must understand this. The only evidence you ever need is the result. Once the desire appears in your outer world, number one will question how it came. They will see it and it will speak for itself. But until then, you are planting invisible seeds, and if you speak too soon, explaining, defending, reasoning, you're often digging up what has not yet had time to bloom. To explain is often to weaken. It is to step down from the throne of inner authority and seek permission from the crowd, but those who manifest consistently do not seek approval. They are not moved by opinion. They are not shaken by disbelief. They live from the end, and in doing so, they walk in peace. You must remember your imagination is divine. It is the place where all things begin. If you have seen it clearly in your inner world, you do not need to explain it in the outer world. The moment you feel the need to justify your desire, you have already moved away from it. The moment you seek validation, you have placed your power in the hands of another. So be still. Assume the feeling, occupy the state, walk as though it is already done. When you do this, you will discover something profound. The need for explanation disappears. You no longer care whether others understand or approve. You know the law. You know the process, and you know that what you have imagined must become your experience. Let your life be the proof. Let your peace be the message. Let your results speak so loudly that explanations are no longer necessary. This is the mark of one who walks by inner vision, not outer sight. When you truly believe you don't need to talk about it, you embody it. You don't argue for it. You live from it, and in time the world will see what you saw in silence. Then and only then will they understand. Until that day, remain unmoved. You owe them nothing but the radiance of your certainty. The more you speak of lack, the more you experience it. Words are not just sounds, they are declarations of belief, expressions of consciousness. When you speak of not having, of what's missing, of what's wrong, you are not merely describing your world, you are shaping it. You are impressing upon your subconscious a state of limitation, and because your inner world is the source of all outer expression, lack must then multiply in your life. Every complaint is a rehearsal of powerlessness. It is a performance of defeat, a confession that you believe something outside of you holds the power. When you complain, you are saying this condition is greater than I am. I am subject to it. I am helpless before it. And though you may not mean it consciously, your subconscious mind hears the message clearly and obeys you. See, the subconscious does not reason. It does not argue. It simply accepts repeated feeling tone thoughts as truth. It mirrors back to you without bias what you dwell upon consistently. So when you're in a conversation, is one of worry, frustration, or lack, your life begins to reflect more of that tone. It is not punishment, it is law, but the wise do not waste words. They do not speak of what they do not want. They understand the creative power of the tongue, and so they choose silence when they are tempted to vent, complain, or explain failure. They know that silence in the face of adversity is not denial. It is discipline. It is the refusal to energize a reality that is passing away. Speak only of what you desire. Declare the end from the beginning. Describe your life not as it is, but as it will be, once your desire is fulfilled. Not to convince others, but to align yourself. You are not affirming to beg the universe. You are affirming to remind yourself of the truth that all things are possible and all things are done to you as you believe. And if you cannot speak of your desire with confidence, then speak not at all. Remain still, go within, feel the wish fulfilled in the sanctuary of your mind. Let the silence carry the vibration of certainty. Let your quiet be your strength. In stillness, you are closest to the source, and from that stillness, creation flows without resistance. There is power and restraint power in choosing your words with care. Power in knowing when to be silent. For the one who no longer needs to voice their struggle has already left that struggle behind in consciousness. They have moved to the new state, and the old one is already fading. Do not speak of lack. Do not rehearse suffering. Do not describe what you no longer wish to live. Speak of your desire as real, or speak not at all. Your words are either watering the seed of your dream or feeding the weeds of your doubt. Choose them with reverence. Let your speech be sacred. Let your silence be strategic, and let your life be the proof. Miracles are normal when you assume your desire. What the world often calls extraordinary supernatural, or impossible is, in truth, the natural result of an inner certainty. There is no magic involved, no special favor granted from above. There is only a quiet, unwavering assumption that what you desire is already yours, and the world then reshapes itself to reflect that conviction. Assumption is not a weak hope or a casual wish. It is a state of being. It is living from the end. When you assume your desire, you move beyond the question of if or how. You rest in the knowing that it is already done. You walk differently, you speak differently, your inner dialogue shifts, and this change in your inner world is what alters the outer. To the one who doubts, the fulfillment of desire seems like a miracle, they say. How did this happen? How is it possible? No. But to the one who understands the law, it is the most natural thing in the world. It could not have happened any other way. The assumption of the wish fulfilled plants succeed in consciousness, and consciousness, being the only creative power, must bring it forth. There is no effort required in this process, only alignment. The seed does not strive to become the tree, it simply contains within it the knowing of what it is. Likewise, your assumption contains the blueprint of your desire. Once fully accepted, it begins to unfold not because you force it, but because it is already written in the invisible. Most people attempt to manifest by forcing circumstances, chasing opportunities, and trying to control outcomes. The true creation begins within. You do not need to manipulate the world. You only need to occupy the state. When you become one with the feeling of already having what you want, the world must conform. That is law. That is order. What others call a miracle is merely the result of someone dwelling in the right state long enough for the world to catch up. You must understand reality is malleable. It is shaped not by effort, but by consciousness. It reflects back to your dominant assumptions, those things you accept as true without resistance. So when you assume abundance, abundance flows. When you assume love, love arrives. When you assume healing, healing occurs. And to those around you, it may appear as a miracle, but to you it was simply the natural result of your inner conviction. You are not asking the world to give you something that already exists in another dimension of possibility. You are simply selecting it by assuming it. There is no begging, pleading, or waiting. There is only choosing, aligning, and trusting. So let go of the idea that miracles are rare. Let go of the belief that you must suffer, strive, or earn your desire. Yes, assume your wish is fulfilled. Now walk in that state, feel the relief live from the end, and you will discover that miracles are not exceptions. They are the rules disengaged from the outer command. The inner this is the secret path of all transformation. The world of appearances, the conditions, the circumstances, the facts is not the source of your experience. It is the echo, the shadow, the output picturing of an earlier state of mind. To wrestle with it is to try and change the reflection in the mirror rather than the face itself. It is futile, exhausting, and fruitless. You must turn away from the illusion and direct your gaze inward where all true power lies. The outer world is always late. It is always behind. What you see with your eyes is not the present. It is the past crystallized. The moment you recognize this, you free yourself. You stop reacting. You stop chasing you. Stop explaining or complaining. Instead, you begin to create consciously by mastering the inner realm. To command the inner means to choose deliberately the thoughts you think, the emotions you dwell in, and the scenes you play within your imagination. It means holding firmly to your vision in the face of contradiction, not because you are stubborn, but because you understand that what shall be already is. In the unseen, in the eternal, in the imagination. And if you persist there, the outer must conform. When you invest attention in what shall be, you are not escaping reality. You are creating it. You're moving from the temporary to the permanent, from the visible to the cause. It is not denial of what is, it is transcendence of it. You acknowledge what is happening. But you refuse to let it dictate your inner world. You choose instead to dwell in the unseen state of fulfillment, and in time, the outer must catch up. There is great power in withdrawing attention where your focus goes, energy flows, and if you continue to stare at problems, they grow. But if you turn within and dwell on the solution begins to manifest. This is not wishful thinking. It is alignment with the law of consciousness. You are always manifesting. The only question is whether you are doing it deliberately or by default. This engagement is not inaction. It is inspired non-reaction. It is the deliberate choice to no longer be a victim of appearances. It is refusing to let the outer world define your mood, your belief, or your identity. You step into your role as creator and withdraw from the drama of conditions, commanding the inner his quiet work. It is done in solitude, in silence, in the stillness of your heart and mind. But though it appears subtle, it moves mountains. The world bends to the one who is. Unmoved by it, creation begins the moment you stop reacting and start assuming, so stop wrestling, stop explaining, stop worrying. Turn within, see the desire fulfilled. Feel the relief of already having walked in that inner conviction. And as surely as the sun rises, the outer world will follow. It must, because it is only ever a reflection of what lives within you. When you no longer complain, no longer explain, and instead choose to quietly assume your desire is already fulfilled, you rise above the illusion of lack, fear, and doubt. You become still not because you are passive, but because you now understand that creation begins in silence. In that silence, you no longer react to the outer world. You command the inner one, and from that inner command miracles flow. What the world calls supernatural is nothing more than the natural outcome of a disciplined mind. You no longer beg for change, you become the change. You no longer seek permission. You walk in authority. You no longer explain your vision, you live it. That is true power to remember this. Never complain, never explain manifest miracles. Let your results speak for you. Let your silence build worlds. Let your assumption become your experience. Thank you for listening.